Welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about money, which is a topic that I feel like not that many people want to talk about. Specifically spending money. I am a pretty typical girl, and what I like to spend my money on, I like to buy clothes and shoes and makeup and accessories and beauty products and hair care stuff and blah blah blah. Really spirals out of control. There's always something new to get and there's always something new to want. And in the past, I would say I was definitely very easily influenced. If you use Pinterest, you basically know exactly what I'm talking about. It's just everything is an ad these days, and it's so hard to just go on social media without just being bombarded with a million things that oh, that would be really great to have. That would be so cute. And I've never really had a serious problem with it where it's put me in debt or gotten me in bad situations. I don't use Afterpay or anything. I'm pretty responsible about it, but I still shop a lot. But yeah, it's really easy for me to get stuck in a really bad loop of just wanting things and finding a new thing to want every week and buying it and then it coming in the mail and me forgetting about it and being oh, I didn't even remember I ordered this, now I don't even want this, blah 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 blah. And I know I'm not the only one that experiences this heightened state of anxiety and euphoria when you're trying to find something that you want, viciously scrolling through and on the hunt and on the search to find things, which can be a really addictive feeling, but ultimately it's just not helpful for many reasons. And with this, I feel there's some things that I've never really heard anyone talk about or extrapolate on that I've identified as some deeper motives as to why I feel this way, why collectively we have this very strong urge to shop and buy, besides the kind of rudimentary we live in a consumer culture and we're constantly bombarded with ads. Companies want to make it really easy to buy things, so they keep us trapped, a lower economic state. We don't actually reach self-actualization, blah 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 blah. But I digress. There are some other things that I've thought about that I never really heard anyone talk about. Number one is specifically with fashion and beauty and stuff, you can't consume yourself. And as hard as you may try, you ultimately don't get the satisfaction that you're looking for by buying all of the things that you're ogling about. And here's what I mean by this. Imagine this scenario. You are going on vacation, right? So instantly, most people are oh, hey, I gotta find the right outfits. Let me go on Pinterest. Let me make a board. Let me whatever. And you just start, planning, which can feel very fun. And I don't want to also eliminate that the thrill of the chase and the thrill of the hunt. I don't think that is a net negative or a character flaw. I think that's embedded in human biology. I guess hunter-gatherer, I want to search high and low. When you actually dissect that feeling, you get the most dopamine rush from the search and not the actual satisfaction of the finding of it. That's why thrifting is so exhilarating for people, because it's you don't know what's going to be in there, and that's what's most exciting. But when you go to a thrift store and you do 10 laps and you're oh, all this is junk. Even if you do find stuff, that's why people have thrift realization, post thrift clarity, when they realize oh, I actually don't really like any of this stuff. Because what's fun is the search. I digress. But you're planning this vacation, right? And let's say you're going with your brother or your dad or someone just in your life that doesn't care, doesn't have the same attitude. Sorry, I had to refocus myself. Someone who doesn't have the same urge and desire to consume a bunch of stuff and plan all these outfits and whatever. If you're someone who's I have to have a perfect outfit in order for me to feel secure, and they actually do feel very satisfied when they've I've got the perfect outfit on, I can breathe easy or whatever. I don't have that experience personally, but I don't want to invalidate that some people might genuinely feel relief if they put all this effort into buying X, Y, and Z and it perfectly satisfies them. It's possible. I'm not saying it's not possible. But there's two different people in this situation. There's someone who doesn't care, who doesn't have the expectation, i.e. your brother, your dad, or whatever. I also am using men for this example because it's very typical straight man to be why do you have to buy all this? They wear the same thing that they wear in real life on their vacation. That's very typical for them. For most straight men, I guess. You go on this vacation, right? And you plan all this time, you spend all this time wearing this perfect outfit, figuring it out, whatever, and you're walking around, not only are you not consuming visually what you look like, because you're probably like sightseeing or doing a tour or a guide or at the beach, swimming. The activities that you're doing are very much focused on the place that you're at. The other people that you're consuming are these other people who don't care about what they're wearing, or they don't care about how they look, and you get no satisfaction from that. Like, all this effort you put in to look good is being consumed by other people, specifically people that don't actually care that much because they don't even care enough for themselves to do it for themselves. Basically, when I get in these instances where I'm like, oh, I need to be wearing the perfect thing, I found myself realizing once I like attempted and would go to the thing and felt unsatisfied, it's because I was not looking at my outfit the whole time and like gaining the satisfaction of my own outfit, because I'm not looking at myself the whole time. I don't have a mirror in front of me the whole night. You're focused on the thing that's happening, and the people who are in your peripheral are other people, and you can't control what other people wear. In a perfect world, I would want everyone else to dress really nice and like have perfect outfits on, because then that would be like satisfying for me. That's like why Pinterest is like so fun and addictive. You're just like overloaded with like beautiful imagery all the time of perfect outfits and perfectly styled looks and perfect hair and perfect whatever. But like in real life, like no one is doing that. And so like you don't even get the satisfaction. You can't even like consume yourself in that instance. I hope that makes sense. I feel like that's a little vague, but I hope that the example like kind of explains like what I mean by that. And the next thing is kind of rudimentary, but no one cares that much about like what you have on. My personal anecdote is that I am one of the people that I pay attention to what people wear. I am the ones that it's like, oh, you're wearing the boots again, you must really like those boots or whatever. I'm not currently in my Kylie Jenner phase, but like I have always really liked Kylie Jenner and her like style and whatever, and I cared what she would wear to like the grocery store. Ultimately, like that fuels my own desire to look good, because and to buy things and to constantly trying to be buying something new, because I have this expectation that like other people would care that much about me, but no one cares. And like I know I'm not saying that and like don't be insecure, like no one's thinking about you as much as you're thinking about yourself. I don't even mean it like that. I just mean like no one is sitting here like clocking your, oh, she's wearing the blah 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 blah, that means like blah blah blah. Like no one is doing that, especially if you aren't an online presence. I feel like we're like living in this delusion that like, we're all influencers and stuff, and we have like fans that are commenting down below in real life about what we're wearing, whatever. If you post online, that in itself is not exactly true, because of like a lot of these people are bots. It's not real engagement. But if you're just a real life person, actually no one really cares. No one cares as much as you want them to care about what you're wearing or what bag you have or what shoes you have. No one cares, because most people, I mean, maybe I'm just speaking for myself because I don't live in a very fashion focused city or whatever. Most people don't have a clue. They don't have a clue. They're looking, do you look pretty or do you look ugly? That's pretty much the extent of what people care about, and that is not satisfying to me. It's really not. I've had to take a big step back. I guess you would say I'm on a no buy right now, which is also spurred by something else. I basically did something really stupid where I ordered some clothes to a wrong address. And because I was being so impulsive, there was a time in my life when money was like more, basically when I was way stricter with money because I had less of it. And if I was ordering something, like I'm staring at that invoice screen. If I see 2 cents that look wrong, I'm checking that out. I'm like, what's the shipping? And would leave my screen open before I purchase to like really deliberate, like, am I really willing to spend this amount of money on this thing? And now I've gotten so stupid and impulsive that like I ordered multiple items of clothing to a wrong address, and I basically like am not able to get it back. Like I tried and it didn't work. So as punishment to myself, like I'm not allowing myself to buy clothes or anything, because if you can't even like make sure that the address is correct, like you genuinely don't need those things. That's your punishment. But kind of back to what I was saying, you can't force people to care about you the way that you might care about things. It ends up like not really being worth it, because you spend all this time freaking out and in this like heightened emotional state about like trying to have the perfect things and buy the perfect outfit into whatever, just for you to get there and do it, and you're just like, wow, no one appreciated it the way that I appreciated it. And maybe that's not true for everyone. Like maybe if I lived in like a city like New York and like I was just constantly being perceived at all times, maybe I would feel a little bit differently about this. But I think that is something to say too about like your lifestyle. You can't buy things to buy yourself a certain lifestyle. As much as I might like really desire that, and I try to create that by buying things, you can't consume your way out of your reality. You just can't. If that is your reality, then like go for it. And if it makes sense for you, then it makes sense. And when you try and do that, that's when you really do feel that like emptiness feeling. Wow, I bought all this stuff and like I don't feel any better. I don't feel more complete. And that's another thing. If I have this, then I'll like my collection will be correct, or like I'm missing something out of my wardrobe. And functionally that may be true. You have a hole in your wardrobe, but through trial and error of just like constantly buying things that like I actually like really didn't need, thought would be the solution to the way that I feel about myself, ultimately, you really realize this idea of like, once I have this and that, I'll be done. You can just decide that you're done. The feeling of like a complete collection of things is ultimately like a feeling that you can just trigger in your own mind by deciding on it. I think that's like a cornerstone of like a lot of self-help stuff. Your external reality does not have to be conditions for you to feel a feeling that you want to feel. If you want to feel like you're complete and your wardrobe is done and you have a cool collection of clothes, you can just sit to yourself and think about that. And if you think about it long enough, you'll believe it. Like, I don't know. And lastly, as far as like when it comes to spending money, you know, it's nice to buy little things that kind of temporarily trigger dopamine release and make you feel good and excite you and whatever. That is a tricky cycle to break. And I don't think you ever really break it, because there really is nothing quite like getting like a little sweet treat that like would really boost your mood. I don't see a world in which that does not help me a little bit sometimes. But for example, if you're buying a lot of things to change the way that you feel, and this is also one of these things where it's like you hear this your whole life, at a certain point it'll actually it'll clock to you. But at the end of her life, are you actually like using all of your money to create the life that you want? On her deathbed, like, is she gonna be thinking about every single designer bag that she's ever bought? No. I just like had to get real with myself, and I'm like, okay, well, money is a tool. Let me backtrack. Money is necessary to live. I don't know. I don't want to be tone deaf to that at all. But at a certain point, money becomes just a tool for you to gain your own freedom and just to make your own choices in your life, right? You can spend your whole life like hoarding money and get like super wealthy. Then what? Like you have to use money to do something. You need to have a certain amount of money to secure yourself. But then at a certain point, it's not advantageous for you to just like hoard money away. And money is a tool for you to like do what you want with your life, right? I'm not saying like, oh, I'm financially independent. Wow, okay. That took me like 30 minutes to freaking delete all the stuff off my phone so I could finish filming this video. But hopefully what I was trying to say was that, are you using your money as a tool to create the life that you want to have? I personally don't think that using my money to like throw around on like Amazon or like at TJ Maxx is using my money as a tool to get me the life I want, because I've been doing that and I'm not satisfied. So if like you keep doing the same thing and it's not getting you to the place that you think that you're supposed to be going, you probably should be doing something else. So yeah, hopefully this puts something in perspective for you that maybe you haven't thought about before when it comes to spending money. I think like no one talks about money and it's really annoying, and I'll just talk about it because I can, because no one else will say anything about it. I don't know. Anyways,